Quote this tweet with your NFL hot takes. More than likely, I left out your poverty franchise last time, so I'm making sure we have a hot take for every NFL team. Why don't we start with the Carolina Panthers? The Panthers are a legit team that could make playoff noise, but none of the media will tell you that Bryce Young doesn't need to throw for 300 yards and 2+ touchdowns to win in this system. He just needs to minimize mistakes. The irony is this is what Jalen Hurts actually does, and people hate him for it. I would like to give credit where credit's due. Carolina Panthers, Rico Dowdle, kind of crazy how good the Carolina Panthers are with their running backs. They maximize running back talent. But the idea that the Carolina Panthers are going to make playoff noise, you've got to make the playoffs to do that. As it stands, the Carolina Panthers are 5-4. They're second in the NFC South, only to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The only problem? They end this season by playing the Rams, the Buccaneers, the Seahawks, and then the Buccaneers again. If the Panthers make the playoffs with this schedule, you can revoke my title as #1 ball knower on YouTube.com. You can take it away. Okay, this is the same take I keep seeing. It's really not that hot of a take. Okay, the Denver Broncos are a legit contender this year. That's not really that hot of a take. They're playing well. But it will soon be their division the way it was once the Chiefs. Let's get one thing straight. This is still the Chiefs division. The Chiefs haven't missed the playoffs since 2015. And if you think that 1 or 2 good years of Bo Nix is going to topple the Chiefs dynasty, I'm sorry. What you need for this to be true is Andy Reid or Patrick Mahomes to retire or be traded. So long as Andy Reid and the Chiefs are there, this is the Chiefs division. It is the same way that so long as Bill Belichick and Tom Brady were in the AFC East, that was the Patriots division. Every once in a while, another team would come in there and squeak out a little bit of sauce. But this is a hot take. Are you telling me that you seriously think Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos are going to become a dynasty like the Chiefs are? I'm not ready to believe that yet. Now, this is what I'm talking. When I say hot take, this is what I'm talking about. Raiders release Geno Smith and fire Pete Carroll at the end of the year. Okay, releasing Geno, maybe, probably not. Firing Pete Carroll, probably not. But Derek Carr comes out of retirement to reunite with Gruden to bring the Raiders back. Now that's a hot take. I suppose we are technically on the topic. John Gruden did say that he would die to coach in the SEC, and I know that this guy wants to coach football real bad. I think the problem is he was more or less blackballed from the NFL. Whoever leaked those documents about Gruden really wanted this guy out of the NFL. I know this is old news. This is actually from 2021, but the report initially, way back when, was that John Gruden used anti-gay misogynistic language in emails over a 7-year period. I suppose that excludes me from ever coaching in the NFL. I say that over a 7-year period. I've been saying this shit over a 27-year period. Unfortunately, as I go back and look at these reports, Gruden was legitimately hilarious. The newspaper said that Gruden also mocked an article in 2017 about players calling on Goodell to support their efforts to promote racial equality and criminal justice reform. Gruden said, Roger Goodell needs to hide in his concussion protocol tent. Who is that not funny to? That's hilarious. Who is that not funny to? Yeah, this is a hot take. Gruden ain't coming back to the Raiders. I mean, if he does, I'd be geeked up, though. Here we go. I actually like this one. Eagles do the tush push better than anyone else in the league. Therefore, it should not be banned. Yes, it's hard to officiate, but if it's so overpowered and unfair that it should be banned, why isn't everyone else lining up with 3 players behind the quarterback on 4th and 1? You're right and you're wrong. What you're correct about is that the Eagles do the tush push better than anyone else in the league. You're correct that it's hard to officiate, and you're correct that it's overpowered. Where you're incorrect is to assume that because it's so good is why it's being banned. You know what else is really effective in the National Football League? Passing. You know what else is really effective? Super good quarterbacks. You know what's not entertaining at all? The tush push. The NFL's not banning the tush push or even insinuating that they should ban it because it's good. The NFL is not under the assumption that everything good in the NFL, everything very powerful in the NFL should be banned. That obviously makes no sense. It's being banned because nobody wants to see it. It sucks. This is a spectator sport. I've said this on many videos, but people are under the impression that the NFL is a fair competitive sport. It's not. The NFL is pure entertainment. You don't think to some degree that all entertainment sports are rigged or at least pushed in the correct direction of entertainment? Everything high-level decision-making is made to make the most money possible. So, Zan, you might be right. In fact, even if the Eagles came up with another play, even if they got 3 yards every time they ran the tush push, we're not banning it because it's good. We're banning it because it sucks ass to watch. Nobody wants to see that shit. The National Football League is not a circle jerk of who's figured out the most overpowered play. It is the greatest, relatively unscripted entertainment sport. And when it's 3rd and 2 and I watch the Philadelphia Eagles do the same shit they've been doing for 2 straight years and everybody knows the outcome, there's nothing entertaining about that. Odell Beckham did more for the sports image than Tom Brady, and this guy is a Boston fan. He also believes that the world would be a better place without the Dolphins. It's not even team related, it's just insane. The Titans are winning the bowl this year. I'm not going to make this my Titans hot take. This is just straight up single-digit IQ. It's not even a take. This is something that not even a 4-year-old would believe. Justin Herbert will make the Super Bowl in less than 3 years as long as Pro Bowl tackles stay healthy and if he gets a new set. Is this your fucking wish list, bro? This isn't even a hot take. If wishes were horses, then beggars would ride. If my grandmother had wheels, she'd be a bicycle. What is this stupid-ass sentence you just wrote for me? The Detroit Lions will win the Super Bowl in somewhere between 0 and 8 years, so long as all of our players stay healthy and we make the Super Bowl and we score more points than the other team. Shut the fuck up. Ravens are winning 9 straight, and Lamar will be the MVP. It would be tough. It is not impossible. This is much more likely than the last 2 things I just read. Ravens are winning 9. I think Lamar can very seriously still win MVP. I think that is super in the question. Or on the table. Winning 9 straight, though? I don't know. I don't know about that. Ravens got Vikings, Browns, Jets, Bengals, Steelers, Bengals, Patriots, Pack. That's a cakewalk-ass schedule. Are you kidding me? Steelers always give them a tough game. Patriots and Packers are good, but Bengals, they won't have Joe Burrow either times. Browns are ass, Jets are ass. And I can see it. The Browns would be a top 5 team in the NFL if they played Shedeur Sanders and gave him actual offensive weapons to utilize. So even if they started Shedeur, they wouldn't be a top 5 team because they don't have actual offensive weapons to utilize? I'm not even that much of a hater of the Cleveland Browns' current weapons, but I hate to break this to you. Cam Ward was undoubtedly the best quarterback in college football. Undoubtedly was the correct pick. And he's sucked major ass, just like virtually every rookie quarterback who ever starts their first time. You think the 5th rounder, 6th rounder, I don't even remember what round he was. It was late as hell. Shedeur Sanders would make the Cleveland Browns a top 5 team? And somebody agreed with you? All right, we got a little 5-piece. Why not a 5-banger? The Broncos are winning the West, the entire West, the whole AFC West. Colts have a potential of being big frauds. Okay, well, everybody has a potential of being a big fraud. Jordan Love will never win a ring. Josh Allen had a fraud MVP last year. And Panthers will sneak a playoff spot. Oh, God. Which of these is the most likely? Which of these is the most likely to be true? Josh Allen had fraud MVP last year? Nah. Maybe I'm with you there. Jordan Love will never win a ring? This seems very unlikely to me. I think the Packers' window, with the amount of talent they have, is very large. Colts have a potential of being frauds? I don't agree. They've shown significantly more excellent football than bad football. Broncos are winning the West? I don't know. It's the Broncos' schedule. Okay, they get a freebie with the Raiders. They got to take on the Chiefs. They get a freebie with the Commanders. No Jaden Daniels. Freebie with the Raiders again. Jaguars, Chiefs. You got a couple gimmies in there for sure, though. Jalen Hurts would be a fringe starter / a journeyman quarterback if he didn't have the Eagles O-line and 2 elite receivers. Okay, here's my response to this. What is your opinion, then, on Baker Mayfield? What is your opinion on Sam Darnold? Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold were fringe starter journeymen until they got to a team and a place in their life personally and an ability level in the National Football League to succeed. Sam Darnold looked like he was out of the league. Baker Mayfield was damn near out of the league. So would you say, Michael, would you say the same exact thing about Baker Mayfield? Would you say the same exact thing about Sam Darnold? I think everybody thinks it's a diss or something. Like you're de-incentivized to have a good team. You know where I think this comes from, for the record? I think this comes from the NBA. In the NBA, one spectacular player can actually bring an entire team to success. LeBron James has done this forever. Remember 2018 LeBron James with the Cavaliers? That team was fucking ass. That whole team outside of LeBron James was ass. Kevin Love was injured. Kyrie Irving was injured, or one of the two wasn't even on the team. Either way, that team was super hot dog shit. He took them to the finals. So then people come over to the NFL and they look at quarterbacks and they want their quarterbacks to be LeBron James. They want their quarterbacks to take this dog shit team and just rise them out of the ashes. It doesn't work that way. Great quarterbacks and great systems can be dynasty quarterbacks. Good quarterbacks and great systems can look great, and great quarterbacks and bad systems can look like shit. But the truth, the reality of quarterback play in the NFL is 80% of quarterback play is simply the system. The system you're in, the offensive play calling. I think what people hate the most, or maybe not hate the most, but refuse to believe the most, is that the NFL is so predicated on coaching. So is college football, frankly. But the most important person on any single NFL team is the offensive, defensive, and head coach. After that, it's the quarterback. After that, you can have your argument about who it is. Maybe a pass rusher. I just don't get it. I guess another thing I would say is this is virtually true about literally everybody. This is true about literally everybody, almost. I think there are very few quarterbacks in the league who transcend this. I don't know about Jalen Hurts, but Lamar Jackson does. Lamar Jackson transcends this take. Josh Allen does. Patrick Mahomes does. I don't know anybody else I'm willing to say transcends this out of those three. NFL is boring. Take off their helmets and padding and let us see the actual men. I said hot takes, not gay takes. Well, you can't even say this is hate speech. It's simply an observation. I go to his profile. He's gay. I called it. Basically, so I was right, is what you're saying. The Colts are what the Vikings were last year, hot until it matters. So this guy's basically saying Colts are going to go to the playoffs, but they're going to choke it away. I don't know if it's just my bias against Daniel Jones, but I feel like I agree with this. This is your Super Bowl MVP, and the Lions will win out the rest of the year. Landy chose the GIF that's literally been deep fried by 1,000 fucking toasters that it's almost unrecognizable, except that's my dog, Amon-Ra St. Brown. You could deep fry it 1,000 more times, I'd still know it's him. Your Super Bowl MVP. This is truly a hot take. Now, the Lions winning out the rest of the year, that's also a hot-ass take, because our schedule is pretty tough. We don't have a cakewalk the rest of this season at all. I think more importantly, a wide receiver winning Super Bowl MVP. That's hard to do. I talk about this a lot, but what does it require for a wide receiver to win an award over a quarterback? It means the quarterback must have played bad but good only with that wide receiver, or the wide receiver did something extracurricular outside of the quarterback, like a punt return, a kick return, a jet sweep. Maybe they threw a passing touchdown. You know a wide receiver that had a chance to win Super Bowl MVP? Jawan Jennings in the Chiefs-Niners Super Bowl. Granted, the Chiefs won that Super Bowl, but if the Niners won that, I think Jawan Jennings, who had a lot of receiving yards and threw a passing touchdown, he really could have won it. Now, with Dan Campbell and the way we play call, I actually like this take. I am a little biased, but I like this take. Cam Ward will have a huge resurgence around December and continue rising until he's into top 10 quarterback talks next season. Okay. Dude, Cam Ward has already played so poorly that it's impossible for this to be true. This is wrong. Cam Ward could almost literally throw 300 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions the rest of the season, and I would still be like, yeah, except he choked away the first 8 games. He was horrible those first 8 games. He sucked big, major ass. I do agree that Cam Ward can have a huge resurgence around December and continue rising because Cam Ward is still undoubtedly so good. He is so talented. I'm not calling Cam Ward a bust. I will not say that. These first 8 games, he sucked. That is true. Both can be true, but this is crazy. That's crazy. Drake May is the 4th best quarterback in the NFL. Okay, so let's assume you're putting Lamar, Josh Allen, and Patrick Mahomes above Drake May. That's my assumption. This means that you're saying Drake May is better than Matthew Stafford. Drake May is better than Jaden Daniels. Drake May is better than Baker Mayfield. Drake May is better than Jared Goff. Drake May is better than Justin Herbert. Drake May is better than Bo Nix. Say whatever you want, but Drake May at least has to be 5th because number 4 is Arizona Cardinals' Jacoby Brissett. Brock Purdy is a top 10 quarterback, but his draft position weighs down people's opinions of him. He led the entire playoffs in 23 and saved Kyle and John's job. I can't agree here. While Brock Purdy has played very, very well, I think the fact that Mac Jones has played so well disproves your own theory. Is Mac Jones really that good? I don't think so. I also don't think he saved Shanahan's career. You know what I think is that Kyle Shanahan is a spectacular coach. Kyle Shanahan is one of the best coaches in the league. That's my opinion. Kyle Shanahan chokes big games, though. Kyle Shanahan has taken his team, thick and thin, Mr. Irrelevant or not, to deep, deep runs. But he does choke on the biggest stage. When the lights are bright, Kyle Shanahan's good, but when the lights are really bright, he chokes it away. If there's one coach in the league that I want to see win a Super Bowl, it is Kyle Shanahan, because that's mentally got to be very difficult to make the Super Bowl, to have such deep runs and not be able to pull it off. I think the craziest thing is that the Cowboys have won a Super Bowl before the Niners. More recently than the Niners, sorry. The Cowboys have run a Super Bowl more recently than the Niners. That's crazy. Jordan Love needs to stop being mentioned in the same breath as Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre. He should be nowhere near conversations about Packer greats. Okay, you know, Jack, I'm gonna be honest with you, buddy. Is this a subtweet for your uncle? Who's putting Jordan Love in a conversation with Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre? Outside of saying that the Packers have had like only 3 starting quarterbacks in the last 60 seasons and it's those 3 guys, nobody's saying that Jordan Love is as good as these guys. He's only been in the league for like 3 years, 4 years. Nobody's saying this. Jack is subtweeting his delusional friend. Ravens and Bengals make the playoffs. It's not even likely for either of them. This would be monumentally crazy. Bears make the playoffs. Caleb Williams finishes top 10 in MVP voting, and Ben Johnson wins Coach of the Year. Ben Johnson, Coach of the Year, very possible. Caleb Williams, top 10 in MVP voting? I mean, top 10 is not that hard because there's always like 10 dog shit quarterbacks or like a bunch of injuries, so it's not even that hot of a take. Bears making the playoffs, though. Now, the idea that the Bears will make the playoffs off of winning the NFC North seems almost impossible. The NFC North is stupid good. The Packers, the Vikings, and the Lions are all actually pretty solid teams. I don't think they can win it by getting a playoff berth off of winning the North. They take on the Giants, the Vikings, the Steelers, the Eagles, the Packers, the Browns, the Packers, the Niners, the Lions. Good Lord. It's crazy, but it seems like almost every team in the NFL actually could make the playoffs right now. There are like 5 teams that I'm going to be like, no fucking shot your ass. But outside of that, it's possible. Matt LaFleur is the real problem in Green Bay, not Jordan Love. The play calling is horrible, and the Packers are realistically a great play caller away from showing Jordan Love's true potential. I think Jordan Love has already shown that he's a good quarterback. Obviously, sometimes he's better than other times, and I'm not going to pretend like Jordan Love's top 5 or anything, but to say that we really got to show Jordan Love's true potential, I don't know if I agree there. I will say, I do not like Matt LaFleur as a coach. I do think Green Bay should be moving on from Matt LaFleur. I think this is too talented of a roster for Matt LaFleur to lose games like he lost to the Carolina Panthers. The problem is when you keep winning games going to the playoffs, you're never going to fire your coach. Like, the crazy thing is an excellent roster and a good supporting cast and a good supporting coaching system can actually mask a bad head coach. I don't know if that makes any sense, but you can't fire a head coach when you're winning. It's really hard to do that. And when a team mega sucks, giga sucks, and you go 1-7, it's so easy to fire your head coach. But when you keep winning, but not quite winning the Super Bowl, does that make any sense? The Falcons will become a top-tier NFC contender soon. Define soon, buddy, because this is just yapping. Harbaugh has wasted another 2 years of Herbert's career? I strongly disagree. I think Brandon Staley was a horrible coach, and he never should have been there as long as he was. I think Harbaugh's a really good coach. I think people oversell the Chargers roster. This is also a crazy take because the Chargers are looking pretty good. The Chargers could go on a playoff run. Is the implication here that with someone else, Herbert would be way better, or that he's guaranteed to fail this season? I don't agree with this. I hate Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh was coach of Michigan forever. I hated him the entire time he was at the University of Michigan. Now, hate's a strong word, but as a Michigan State fan, I was required to hate this guy. Not only that, that whole organization cheated. They were stealing signs from everybody and their mother, and they knew they were doing it, and you got away with it. Good job, Jim Harbaugh. But he's a damn good coach, and he translates to the NFL. I don't agree. The Chiefs are going 8-0 the rest of the way and win the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes will win MVP and Super Bowl MVP. You know what's crazy? The Chiefs, if the season ended today, would not make the playoffs. They are out of playoff contention. If the season ended today, they still have Vegas's best odds to win the Super Bowl. Isn't that crazy? This team is 5-4, and they have Vegas's best odds to win the Super Bowl at 11% out of all teams in the NFL. Shit's crazy. Rams are a kicker away from being unstoppable? Unstoppable? No, sir. But the Rams are already good, and Cardi does suck. Here we go. Here's the polar opposite. The Chiefs will go 9-8, miss the playoffs. I'm a Chiefs fan. Also, the hate on Patrick Mahomes is infuriating. I agree with this. One thing that we all have to do is, as consumers of media, as people who doom scroll TikTok and doom scroll Instagram, doom scroll Twitter, doom scroll the TV, as humans growing up in the era where we consume infinite content, we have to remember fatigue. Fatigue is the most real thing in media today. When a player gets glazed and glazed and glazed over and over and over, it is human nature to start to dislike it, to be fatigued by the amount of coverage they're getting. For the past 6 years, that's been the Kansas City Chiefs. The 10 years prior to that, it was Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. It is human nature. If you want to blame somebody for the Patrick Mahomes hate, it is none other than sports media. The absolute Godzilla that is sports media, ramming shit down your throat until you can't, until you're gasping for air. Stop. Stop. Oh. Just wait. Think about that. Think about that young, aspiring, awesome player that we're all so excited about right now. Just wait until they're good for 3 straight years and everyone slowly tips on the seesaw. Just wait till they hate Drake May. You're saying, no, not my Drake May. I heart Drake May. Drake May could never be hated. You just fucking wait, buddy. Your glorious king, Bo Nix, wait until he's that fraud, Bo Nix. Your handsome stud dating Madison Beer, Justin Herbert, just wait till he wins a Super Bowl. Josh Allen, just wait till he wins a Super Bowl. I mean, shit, Lamar Jackson hasn't won a goddamn thing other than 2 MVPs. And just by winning the 2 MVPs, they hate him. Lamar B, this guy's one of the most accurate quarterbacks the last 5 years. He's already going to go to the Hall of Fame. And he's Lamar B. He's being associated. He's not really being associated with being a running back. I know that's just like rage bait, but I know you get my point. Actually, I have the best story ever for this. I might have already told this, but I've been a Lions fan my whole life. Anytime you tell somebody you're a Lions fan, you know what they instantly say? Oh, I'm so sorry. Or, oh, you must be from Michigan. That's what it used to always be. Until the other day, just a week ago, I call up this company because I needed help with one of their products. So Daryl picks up the phone to some random guy. And while he's waiting for his computer to load so he can help me, he's like, hey, what are you up to right now? How's your day going? I'm like, oh, I'm just watching the Lions play. He says, a Lions fan, huh? I was like, yeah, I'm a big Lions fan. He goes, you're not one of those bandwagons, are you? Daryl, never in my fucking life have I been asked if I'm a bandwagon of the Detroit Lions. But guess what? Daryl is fatigued. Daryl is fatigued that the Lions get so much good coverage because they've been good for 2 years that Daryl actually assumes that people would just jump on the bandwagon of Detroit. This has never existed in my lifetime, and probably 40 years prior to my existence, this has never occurred. Brock Purdy is an elite quarterback and would elevate many teams except for the obvious Bills, Chiefs, Bengals. I would take Brock Purdy over 90% of the league's quarterbacks. Holy shit, this is a hot take. Okay, so you'd put Brock Purdy on the Colts over Daniel Jones. You'd put Brock Purdy on the Lions over Jared Goff. You'd put Brock Purdy on the Chargers over Justin Herbert. You'd put Brock Purdy on the Patriots over Drake May. You'd put Brock Purdy on the Broncos over Bo Nix. You'd put Brock Purdy on the Eagles over Jalen Hurts. You'd put Brock Purdy on the Browns over Dylan Gabriel. Okay, I went too far. Chris Boswell is the best kicker in the league right now, and nobody's talking about it. His only 2 misses are a block, and one where the grass gave out under him, not to mention his rate from 50+. You know, this might be true. Unfortunately, like I mentioned before, the NFL is an entertainment sport. You know what people like to see? Not kicking, number one. You know what they also like to see? Deep-ass kicks. If they're going to have to see a kick, it better be a 60+ from Brandon Aubrey or Cam Little. Now, I will argue that Brandon Aubrey is a better kicker than Chris Boswell. I do believe the most talented and best kicker in the league right now is Brandon Aubrey. I do believe that. I think the second best kicker in the league is Chris Boswell, and I think Cam Little might be third, but he hasn't proven it enough. Cam Little, undisputed, has the best leg in the league, the strongest leg, but having a strong leg and being a good kicker are not as correlated as people believe. Chris Boswell doesn't have a particularly strong leg at all, and Chris Boswell is probably the second best kicker in the league. The Giants are the new 2021 Lions. They're being asked this year, but they're showing those flashes and will contend for the playoffs starting next year. I like this comparison a lot. 2021 Lions were when we first got Dan Campbell, and we were still ass, but ever since then, it's been real exciting. Niners have been close to winning 4 Super Bowls since 2019. This is not a hot take so much as remembering how shitty it is to be a Niners fan. I suppose. I love these takes from someone who's dedicated their entire Twitter life to one person. Devin Witherspoon is a top 2 cornerback in football. Said by Spoon Season at Spoon on Top. Lob 2.0 is here. And his profile picture is, guess who? His coverage is slightly worse than some other guys, but his impact goes way further than that. It's still elite. People will never understand how good he is until they actually watch a Seahawks game. You know, I agree that he's good. He's not top 2. Absolutely not. This is ludicrous, but he's stupid good. And I will always be sad that the Detroit Lions didn't get Devin Witherspoon. The draft that we did not get Devin Witherspoon is when we traded down and ended up getting Jahmyr Gibbs. So I'm totally fine with it. We got Jahmyr Gibbs in that draft. We got Sam Laporta in that draft. We were gonna take Devin Witherspoon. I strongly believe that. And when Devin Witherspoon got taken right before our pick, that's when we were like, all right, fuck it, trade it down. I think that was our plan all along. Draft Witherspoon or trade down. And I am sad because Witherspoon is nasty. And I feel like a lot of the corners that the Lions are drafted, we've always struggled to draft corners. Jeff Okudah was mega bust. He was ass for where we took him. That was like round 1, pick 4 or something, and he did not live up to the hype. And I'm not even that sold on Terrion Arnold. He was round 1, pick 20-ish, 23, something like that, but I don't know that I'm super excited about him. We'll see. I'll give him some time. When healthy, DeMarvion Overshown is a top 3 linebacker, and he's not 3, so he's 1 or 2. Dude, I mean, I don't even know how to evaluate this take. I don't even know what to say about this. When healthy. So many of these hot takes are inundated with like rubbing a genie lamp and like Christian McCaffrey, if he was faster and better at catching and taller, had the size of Derrick Henry and had a 9-inch cock, would have won 4 Super Bowls since 2019 if the... Okay, when 100% healthy, here we go. The Cardinals are borderline playoff team without Kyler Murray. I hate to say how good Jacoby Brissett has been. I've been a Kyler Murray defender for years. Why do they look so good with Jacoby Brissett? Because I'm not going to sit here and pretend like Jacoby Brissett is all that good. Jacoby Brissett is a career backup, and he's a damn good one. Why is he better than the starter? The quarterback for the Saints isn't a problem. The rest of the team is. Posted by Based Groiper, there is a hell of a lot more than the quarterback and the rest of the team. The Saints are in cap hell. The Saints have no top-end talent. The Saints' best players are 35-plus years old. So I guess I agree with this, but it's part of the problem that everyone blames the quarterback in the National Football League like they're in the NBA, like they're LeBron James, like they're the best player on the team dragging the team down. It's not how the NFL works. The Jets will trade for Kyler and win the Super Bowl in the next 5 years. Trading for Kyler seems super unlikely because they just got Justin Fields, who is a similar quarterback to Kyler. They're not exactly the same, but they're both relatively career underperforming passing quarterbacks that have scrambling ability. I don't see them doing this. And Super Bowl in the next 5 years? Okay, your chances this year are actually 0. Your chances next year are virtually 0. Your chances the year after that have increased from 0 to 1. And the following years, I can't predict, but you will have a lot of developing draft picks. 5 years from now, maybe. But guess what? Any fucking NFL team can win the Super Bowl in the next 5 years. Okay, so, yeah. Patriots are using Travion Henderson. Don't tell me this. Don't say this to me, okay? That's my fantasy guy. That's my go. Patriots are using Henderson perfectly fine. It fits with how they use running backs in the past. James White, Deion Lewis just get better every year. White was one of the best receiving backs in the league for a while. I have a feeling that you're coping the same way I'm coping because you drafted Travion Henderson in fantasy. I certainly agree that it's frustrating, but guess what? You're probably right. Most teams draft running backs and don't use them until the 2nd or the 3rd year. Most teams let running backs develop into the system. Outside of drafting a guy in the 1st or 2nd round, that's usually what happens. So JSN is hitting 2,000 yards, 1,000%. You know, the only reason I don't like this is because Rashid Shaheed just went to Seattle. Like, they actively sought out another deep threat guy. I don't think Seattle does that if they don't plan to throw him the ball. I don't think they make that trade at all. I think they knew that giving the ball this much to JSN is probably a mistake. Not that he's bad or something. You don't want to use and abuse your best young guy like that. I don't think he hits 2,000 yards. I don't think he does it. Dallas Cowboys win out and finish the season 11-5-1 and make the playoffs. Insanely stupid. It's not happening. The Dolphins should have fired McDaniels instead of Greer. My question to you is, what can Mike McDaniels do that he's not doing? I feel like the Miami Dolphins as a cultural organization suck. Those guys, like, want to lose football games. On top of that, Tua is genuinely playing really horrible. Is that Mike McDaniel's fault? Maybe. Maybe it is. Maybe that's the answer to the question. The Cardinals should start Kyler and tank for Fernando Mendoza. I believe the implication here is that if Kyler is starting, they're tanking. Fernando Mendoza, certified MMG watcher. Fernando, if you see this video, you're a fucking savage, bro. You're a dog. That being said, I do not forgive you for whooping my Spartans' ass. I do hope you win the Natty, though. I'd rather watch the Ohio State Buckeyes play in the NFL than the New York Jets. Dude, genuinely, I hope one day they allow this. I hope in some future universe where we've just completely given up on all rules of society that we can let the best college football team play the worst NFL team so that they can get dog walked by 100 points. Your best NFL team, your best college team versus the worst NFL team. That NFL team's winning by 100, and I want you all to see it. They're winning by 100 plus. It'll be mercy rule. They'll all be dead before that game's over. Trevor Lawrence is a top 5 quarterback, but his supporting cast doesn't help him with drops? Trevor Lawrence has had way more than enough time and way more than enough excuses. You cannot be for real. The Texans finished the season 3-5-9 after tying every remaining game with a score of 0-0. Steelers know that Aaron Rodgers is coming back for another year, and that's why they didn't make a big move for a wide receiver at the deadline. I like the Pittsburgh Steelers wide receivers. DK Metcalf is great. Calvin Austin's played great. I like Freiermuth. I don't think, would they have gone for a wide receiver anyway? I don't agree with this. I don't know Steelers ball that well, but I like what they got. Cowboys will sneak into the playoffs after adding Quinnen Williams and Logan Wilson. I'm going to sneak you in to a mental facility so we can get you checked out, bud. Colts are a first-round exit. This seems to be a recurring hot take. K-Max says Drake May. Just all by itself, just Drake May. The Dolphins are a single defensive stop, a game away from being 6-3. I fear this is propaganda. I believe this is lying on the internet for fun. Baker Mayfield will surmount himself again as the MVP frontrunner. The Bucs will have both Rookie of the Year trophies come home. Jacob Parrish winning Defensive Rookie of the Year and Emeka winning Offensive Rookie of the Year. And they will be a top 5 team at the end of this season. You know, it does feel like we kind of forgot about the Buccaneers pretty quick, didn't we? It feels like that. I like this take. K-Rock, I like it. All right, boys. I really enjoyed doing this video last time, so I had to run it back. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for your hot takes. Thank you for providing my content today. I love you. You're so handsome. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.